Chinua was tired. He'd come to Europe for opportunity, for a chance to build a life free from the constraints he felt back in Nigeria. He worked double shifts at the restaurant, his accent thick, but his smile genuine as he served pasta and pizza to people who barely looked him in the eye. He sent money home to his mother, prayed for his younger siblings, and dreamed of a future where his hard work would mean something more than just survival. One rainy Tuesday, as Chinua walked home from work, his thoughts consumed by his family and his dreams, he saw a commotion ahead. A man in a dark hoodie was sprinting down the sidewalk, a woman's purse clutched in his hand. Behind him, an older woman cried out, her voice thin and desperate in the cold night air. People stopped to watch, their faces a mixture of fear and apathy, but no one moved. Chinua felt a familiar surge of anger. He knew this dance, this hesitation, this bystander effect that allowed injustice to flourish. It was the same in Lagos, the same in Abuja, the same everywhere. He wasn't going to stand there and do nothing. He wasn't going to be just another face in the crowd. Without another thought, Chinua took off after the thief. He was fast, his long legs eating up the pavement, his heart pounding in his chest. He could hear the thief's ragged breaths, the woman's cries fading behind them. He had to stop him. He had to do something. The chase was on, a blur of cobblestone streets and flickering streetlights. Chinua, fueled by adrenaline and a sense of duty, gained on the thief. The man, panicked and desperate, glanced over his shoulder, his eyes wide with fear. He stumbled, his foot catching on the uneven pavement, and Chinua saw his opportunity. He lunged, his strong arms wrapping around the thief's waist, pulling him down. They crashed to the ground, the stolen purse spilling open, scattering coins and lipstick and a small worn photograph across the wet cobblestones. Chinua held the thief down, pinning his arms behind his back, his own breath coming in short, sharp gasps. "Help! Somebody call the police!" Chinua shouted, his voice hoarse. People were gathering now, their faces illuminated by the flashing lights of a nearby shop sign. They pointed and murmured, but no one stepped forward to help. Chinua held the thief tighter, his anger building. Where was everyone when that woman was being robbed? Where was the police? He didn't have to wait long. The wail of a siren split the night, and within seconds a police car screeched to a halt beside them. Two officers jumped out, their faces grim, their hands hovering near their holsters. Chinua felt a surge of relief. Finally, someone was here to help. Finally, justice would be served. He had done the right thing. He had done what he had to do. "Let him go!" one officer barked, his hand moving from his holster to rest on his gun. Chinua, confused, looked from the officer to the thief he was still pinning to the ground. "But I caught him. He stole that woman's purse," he stammered, gesturing towards the crowd that had gathered. The second officer grabbed Chinua's arm, yanking him roughly to his feet. "You're coming with us," he growled, his grip like a vice. "What? Why? I was helping. I caught the thief." The officers exchanged a look, a silent communication passing between them. "You have the right to remain silent," the first officer said, his tone flat and devoid of emotion. "Anything you say can and will be used against you in a court of law." Chinua's mind reeled. Arrested? But he was the good guy. He was the one who had stopped the thief. He tried to explain, to reason with the officers, but they wouldn't listen. They shoved him into the back of the police car, the thief thrown in beside him, their eyes meeting for a brief moment in shared disbelief. As the police car sped away, sirens wailing, Chinua stared out the window at the city lights blurring past. He had come to Europe for a better life, for a chance at justice. But it seemed that even here, even now, some things never changed. The events of that night left Chinua shaken, confused, and deeply disillusioned. He spent the night in a holding cell, the details of the arrest still hazy, the injustice of it all a bitter pill to swallow. He was released the next morning, thanks to the intervention of a legal aid lawyer, but the experience left an indelible mark. The police, it turned out, had mistaken Chinua for an accomplice. They saw two men wrestling on the ground, a stolen purse nearby, and jumped to conclusions. They didn't ask questions. They didn't listen to explanations. They simply reacted, their prejudice clouding their judgment. Chinua's story, unfortunately, is not unique. It's a story woven into the fabric of societies around the world, A story of implicit bias, of systemic racism, of the deep-seated fear and suspicion that follows those who are different. So, was Chinua right to help? Was he foolish to intervene, to put himself at risk in a society that seemed predisposed to see him as the villain, not the hero? There are no easy answers, no simple solutions. But one thing is certain. Chinua's story is a stark reminder that the fight for justice, for equality, for a world where everyone is judged by their actions, not their appearance, is far from over. What do you think? Was Chinua right to help? Share your thoughts and join the conversation.